and welcome to USASC's open house, and welcome to this last arts and science presentation on the fine and performing arts. My name is Erin DeLathauer. I work in the College of Arts and Science, and we always begin any kind of gathering, any kind of presentation with a land acknowledgement. So I'm going to do that now, even though today we are gathered in a virtual space. This space is really rooted in Treaty 6 territory and the homeland of the Métis. In this place, we recognize our gratitude for the land that we're connected to. The University of Saskatchewan pays respect to the First Nations and Métis ancestors of this place, and together we strive to reconcile and to reaffirm our relationships with one another. So with that, we're going to get started today on thinking about the fine and performing arts. I'll have to ask Anna to advance my slides. So now's the time. Perfect. So the College of Arts and Science, I'm going to talk a little bit broadly about the college at first, and then we'll talk a little bit more about specifically about the fine and performing arts. So the College of Arts and Science is a very unique college in all of Canada, really. It's a college where you can study everything from drama and music and studio art and art history, all the way through to physics and math and chemistry and philosophy and English and history and sociology and psychology and all kinds of different disciplines, all in one college, in one collegial environment. And what that means is that we have faculty, students, researchers doing some really innovative and interesting work, crossing disciplinary boundaries and working together to really solve problems in interesting ways. So that's quite a unique feature about our college. We also have a very long history of doing that kind of work. We were established in 1908, so that's a very long time that the college has been in existence. There are more than 60 different areas of study that students can choose from. So that means that you have a lot of choice, and you certainly don't have to make that choice right off the bat. There's a lot of room and freedom to shift and grow in the College of Arts and Science. There are 21 different departments. Oh, not quite yet. There are 21 different departments in the college, so every major discipline has its own department, and there are roughly 10,000 current students in the college, so that's quite a large number. Still, we have a sense of community in our college, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how first-year students kind of get a sense of community towards the end of this presentation as well. Now you can advance. Thanks. Okay, so there is an advantage to studying in the College of Arts and Science, many advantages, but one of them, as I've already started to mention, is that our students take courses in the sciences, social sciences, humanities, and fine arts, regardless of their major. So you're going to get a very well-rounded, well-grounded education in the College of Arts and Science, no matter what you end up studying. You're also going to acquire skills in quantitative reasoning, in English language writing, and in Indigenous learning, no matter what your major is, because those are core components to the curriculum in the College of Arts and Science. You'll be gaining real-world experiences via undergraduate research, internships, practicums, field school, community-engaged learning. Certainly, there will be exhibits and performances available as well, too. And what's really interesting is that a lot of times high school students don't realize this, but when they come to the university, they're going to be studying under some of the most well-known researchers, artists, performers in the world, in their fields, in their specific fields. And so that's a really exciting prospect. Your faculty, the faculty, your professors, your teachers are really oftentimes at the very cutting edge of research in their field. So that's kind of exciting too. Ready to advance. There are a number of different kinds of degrees, types of undergraduate degrees that students in the College of Arts and Science can acquire. What we're going to be talking about in this session specifically include the Bachelor of Arts in one of the fine arts, as well as the Bachelor of Music, individualized or performance, and the Bachelor of Music and Music Education, and the Bachelor of Fine Arts, which is in studio art or drama. And I just want to pause here and note that the big distinction between the Bachelor of Arts and the Bachelor of Fine Arts is that when you start out in the College of Arts and Science, if you're thinking about going for a Bachelor of Fine Arts, you would start out actually in the Bachelor of Arts program, and then you'd have to wait to have a certain number of credit units and a certain grade average in order to get into the Bachelor of Fine Arts program. It's like an honors program. Okay, ready to advance. So the majors that you can choose from in the fine arts in the fine arts disciplines that we're talking about here today, these include art history, drama, music education, and studio art. And I know we have a pretty small audience at the moment. I'm not sure exactly how small it is, but what I'd love to hear from you, since we don't have that many people viewing, if you can type in the comments really quickly what you're thinking about studying here in the fine and performing arts, if you have an idea, or which one of these looks the most appealing to you. I'd love to see some comments so that I can get a sense of who you are. Don't be shy, but I'll let you do that at your own pace. Okay, we can advance the slide. There are a lot of great benefits to studying the fine and performing arts. Really, oh, good, we're seeing, I'm interested in music, wonderful. Studying subjects in these areas really does prepare students with those flexible, adaptable, and enduring skills that employers are looking for. So skills around performance, public speaking, curatorial skills, teaching, spatial reasoning, time management, creativity, independence, initiative, all of these things are very valuable skills that employers are looking for. I see we have a couple of prospective music students in the audience as well. That's wonderful. Thank you. We can advance the slide. And at this point, we're going to actually watch a very short video on the value of the fine and performing arts so that you can hear from some of the faculty and students who have from the College of Arts and Science. So Anna, I'm just going to have you cue up that video. I'll just take a second here and we'll watch that.
What the world needs now is creative people. People who can look at the same problems that we're facing and come up with new solutions for them. When you study art, what it gives you is an idea of what it's like to see the world through different people's eyes.
It allows people to start conversations, to start talking about topics that they wouldn't have known they should start talking about.
Music is the one common language that everyone has. And even if you don't speak the same language, you can always find common grounds with music.
So it really allows us to speak beyond what words are capable. Music in and of itself kind of connects to everything else.
Drama is important to the shared understanding of the world because it really digs down into the humanity of people and how we're going to learn to treat one another.
We learn physically, and so much of my study during my fine art degree was being given that time to learn through my hands.
For many students, they actually see their self-esteem increase quite a bit because they get to perform, they have recognition from their peers.
They learn how to present their work, how to just collaborate.
The process of making in art really is a process of self-discovery.
Drama really helped me get me out of my shell. It's like I kind of found out who I was.
The skills that I've kind of gleaned from my studies would be critical thinking, dealing with the analysis of music.
I think one of the greatest things that I gained from studying music here was a sense of dedication.
I've learned that I can create things that I never would have thought of before.
Being able to spend time here to try different classes out, it really gave me the opportunity to then experiment and find out that this is the path I wanted to go on.
The students that I've had that are gaining employment in the industry that they've trained, it's because they have that BFA.
If you love music and you're not quite sure you want to commit all your life to it, starting with a music degree can open a whole new set of doors.
The combination of creativity and being able to empathize with people, to see through their eyes, are really the problem-solving skills of the 21st century.
Great. So yeah, that's great. there are lots and lots of different career paths that students who study music or art history or studio art or drama can go on to do. So if you're thinking about one of these areas, it's important to think outside of the box. Lots of students end up becoming, art therapists, educators, playwrights, screenwriters, music technologists, performers, arts administrators, art therapists, art educators. Oh, I've already said that already. Art writers, art critics, all kinds of things, curators, and so on. So there are lots of different career paths, and I always like to kind of point that out to students who are thinking about maybe doing a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Fine Arts or Bachelor of Music degree. The other thing I want to mention here, though, it's really quite interesting, especially knowing that we have a few music students in the audience. There are so many other pathways that are opened up to students with pretty much a bachelor's degree in pretty much anything. You can advance the slide, Anna. You can work in pretty much any sector of the economy with a Bachelor of Fine Arts or a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Music degree. We've had students go on to medicine, to law. In fact, I was just talking to a colleague yesterday about how one of her law students was a drama major. Devin, who we saw in the short clip there, the short video, went on to study music, or after studying music, went on to the College of Medicine. So really, these degree programs set you up with the skills and the dedication and the hard work, the work ethic that you need to kind of go into any field that you want afterwards. So it doesn't limit you. That's, I think, sometimes a misconception about the fine and performing arts. It doesn't limit you at all. It actually expands your opportunities. So we'll just advance the slide. I want to speak just a little bit about some details. So for those of you who are interested in music, there is a special open house for music prospective students on December 4th. And actually, there's a link there on the screen. It's kind of hard to really see. I was going to somehow get that to you. But if you are interested, that is something that you can have a look at the Department of Music's website. And so December 4th, mark your calendars. The other thing to note for people thinking about music, majoring music, is that auditions this year are on March 19th and April 9th. And those are admissions auditions, and they are being held both in person and virtually. It's also important to note that for students who are interested in music, there are a number of different ensembles you can join. Some of them require an audition and some of them do not. The U of S Symphony Orchestra is new this year, but there's also the Saskatoon Symphony Orchestra, which requires an audition. There's the Greystone Singers, Wind Orchestra, Jazz Ensemble. You can see them all there. So lots to choose from. You can advance the slide, Anna. And if you're thinking about drama, I do want to say a few things about that. First of all, what's kind of interesting, sort of a unique fact about the College of Arts and Science in the University of Saskatchewan is that our Department of Drama turned 75 last year, and that is the oldest drama department, not only in Canada, but in all of the Commonwealth. So we have a very long, rich history of theater, not only at the university, but as a result in our community. So that's quite a wonderful thing about coming here, regardless of what area of art you want to study. It's good to know that there's a theater community and that there's really support for the arts in Saskatoon. Greystone Theatre is the Department of Drama's theater, and they put on, I think, 3 or 4 productions each year. And those productions are chosen specifically to highlight the skills, the talents of their drama students. So drama students participate in everything from set design all the way through to acting and so on. So lots of opportunities there. You can advance the slide. Oh, that's unfortunate that our pictures didn't come through here. Oh, there they are. Okay. For those who are interested in art and art history, there's quite a lot that is done on campus through the Department of Art and Art History. The sort of main areas that our department focus on are art history, of course, curatorial practices, visual cultures of communication, and then within studio art, there's specialization in drawing and painting, digital and integrated practices, photography, printmaking. You saw a printmaker in the little clip that we watched, and sculpture as well. There are 4 galleries on campus, and one of those galleries, the Gordon Snellgrove Gallery, is the one where BFA students who are majoring in one of the studio arts actually put on their show at the end of their degree. So, and then there are 3 other galleries that you can visit as well on campus. You can advance the slide. I do want to talk briefly about certificates in the College of Arts and Science. I've highlighted just a few here that I thought might be relevant to students. So if you're thinking about doing a music degree, consider doing a jazz certificate alongside that. That's kind of a neat little additional thing that students can do. But even if you're not doing a music degree, you can get any one of these certificates. The Wet'suwet'en Theatre Certificate is a very unique certificate, totally unique. There's nothing else like it in all of Canada or anywhere for that matter. It's a really interesting opportunity for students to learn language through drama, through theater. And there's also this other one that I thought was really quite interesting as well, is the Study of Indigenous Storytelling Certificate, which is an interdepartmental certificate. It's something that has been a collaboration between the Department of Indigenous Studies, the Department of English, and the Department of Drama. So that's quite another interesting certificate that students here might be thinking about. Can you advance the slides, Anna? There are lots of certificates in arts and science, and I do want to just note that regardless of what your major is, regardless of what degree you're doing, you can probably plan your classes around completing a certificate at the same time as a degree. So certificates can be done before or during or after a degree, but what's interesting is that all of the coursework that's done in a certificate can also be included in or counted towards the degree, the coursework that's needed for your degree. So that's quite something to think about as you're entering the College of Arts and Science. How are you going to set yourself apart and do something a little bit differently? What kinds of combinations of certificates and degrees might really sort of showcase your specific talents and skills? Those are questions to be thinking about and asking yourself in the next few years. Okay. Perfect. The last thing I really want to talk about here or touch on a little bit before we get to questions is learning communities. At the beginning of this presentation, I said, even though we have 10,000 students roughly in our college, we really do have a sense of community in the College of Arts and Science. And that might not be totally apparent to first-year students, which is why we have learning communities for new students. So a learning community is basically a small group of students who take a common set of courses together, not all of their courses, just some. They meet weekly with successful senior students, so peer mentors. And basically, it gives you an opportunity to make sort of an instant group of friends, to feel like you're a part of something bigger, part of the college community, and also to get to know people who are sort of like-minded, right? So we have learning communities that are focused on common academic interests, common career paths, and so on. So I'll just have you advance the slide, Anna, one more time. Don't take my word for it. We also have a number of student ambassadors who are actually here to talk to prospective students. So if you have additional questions after this session, I know open house is going to be ending when the session ends. There is a website that you can go to, artsandscience.usas.ca/chat with a student, where you can connect with a current student. And actually Sam here on the screen, you see she's doing a BA in history. She's actually also doing a minor in art history too, I believe. And so, you know, she would be a really good person to talk to. We have lots of different ambassadors on there. So go ahead and reach out to someone and chat with them and ask them all of the questions, get the real truth of what it's like to be an arts and science student. Can you advance the slide once more, Anna? Thank you. So questions. We have time now for some. I've given you my email address there as well. So if you have a question, if you want the link to that music open house, you can send me a quick email and I'll send that to you. If I can't address your question in the next 10 minutes, you can feel free to reach out to me as well. Hopefully you've had a chance to visit the Arts and Science booth. Many of my colleagues are there answering questions. Perhaps you've had a chance to attend one of the live chats with some of our some of our students and faculty representing the different departments. I know we had, actually, I'll ask that question of you. And then I'll pause because that was really your turn to ask questions. But so please post questions. And if you can't think of any, I'm going to ask you a question and you can post your response. My question is, how many of you, or did you, attend one of the live chats with our students and faculty at this open house? I know there's a little bit of a lag, so I'm just going to have to be comfortable with silence for a moment. But nobody's saying anything. That's okay. For those of you who said you were interested in music, are you are you thinking about attending the open house that the music department is putting on in December? Does that sound like something interesting to you? Oh, good. You did sessions with English and scholarships. Excellent. Wonderful to hear. That's great. Oh, good. So you had a chance to speak with Professor Roy. Wonderful. Good. Yeah. Oh, good. Yes. Good. I'm glad there are people here. Yes, you will be. You will be. And okay, this is wonderful. I'm glad. So like I said, just jot down my email address and send me a message and I can, or just go ahead and visit the Department of Music's website and they'll have information about their open house there as well. It's just a Zoom link. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Any other questions that I can answer here in this context? I'm here for you for the next 8 minutes or so. If not, we could also end this session a little bit early, go back to the booths. Hopefully you've all had a chance to look at the various materials available to you. Sahil, I have a student here. Sahil, would you like to add anything? Did I miss anything? Do you want to talk a little bit about your experience? Oh.
There's a question first. I'll read that out loud. If I major in music, can I minor in anything else?
Yes. Yes. Yes, you can do minors. I always recommend to students because we're kind of moving away from minors as a college and moving more towards certificates. And I sort of recommend thinking about adding a certificate instead of a minor if there's one that appeals to you. Absolutely, there's a lot of room to navigate multiple interests. Music is a little bit tighter than some of the other disciplines when it comes to how much room you have to maneuver and take other electives, but there definitely is some room. What I would recommend is if you have another subject area in mind that you're interested in advance, I'd know that and be meeting with an academic advisor, meeting with the departmental advisor as well in music to kind of make sure that your schedule, make sure that your courses that you're choosing will work well together in your program. So that's one thing I would recommend.
Aaron, are there any scholarships offered specifically for music departments or students?
Yes, there are. There are actually, again, on the Department of Music website, that's where I would direct you to. There are actually quite a few scholarships for music students in particular. So more so than probably in many of the other disciplines. It's kind of interesting in that way. So yes, there are lots of different scholarships on offer. They are all that are specific to music students, and they're all listed on the Department of Music website. So I would definitely go and have a look at that. Yeah, it's a real perk, I think, of studying music. Yeah, especially also because it's quite a small cohort that you'll be studying with as well in music. So and because of the ensemble experience, it kind of has its own sort of learning communities feel to it, the music department. Any other questions that are coming up?
No, it doesn't look like there's any other questions right now. I'll just add, just explore your time at the College of Arts and Science, try some new classes. Even if you do want to do a major in music, make sure you try to take an elective in something new, and that's really, really important. And that's kind of what I did throughout my majority of my undergraduate career. And we got another question here. So, is it okay to do a part-time job for about 2 to 4 days while in university, or will that affect studying?
That's a good question. It is possible. It depends. It depends a little bit on your schedule and kind of your timeline. So a lot of students don't realize, but they don't have to complete a 4-year degree in 4 years. In fact, most students don't complete a 4-year degree in 4 years. They usually take 5 years. Some take 6 years. That's okay. And the reason why is because they're working part-time. And that's okay. So to be considered a full-time student, you only need to be taking 3 classes per term. The maximum number of classes you can take per term in arts and science is 5 classes per term. So you can take summer classes and spring classes to sort of catch up and do everything in 4 years, but you can also take longer than 4 years. And like I said, the majority of students nowadays take longer than 4 years to complete a degree. And that's because they want to make room for they need to make room for other things in their life, like a part-time job. The general rule of thumb when you're thinking about choosing classes and organizing time management, planning your life, is that for every hour you spend inside of the classroom, in a university classroom, whether it's in a lab or a tutorial or a lecture, you'll want to spend 2 hours, at least 2 hours outside of the classroom. So if you do the math and think about what that means for your week, you'll be able to kind of see how much extra time you'll be able to devote to your part-time job. Lots of students do it though, absolutely. Good question. Thank you. So those are very well thought out questions.
Doesn't look like we have any more questions for now. I know we have, I think, a couple more minutes to go still.
Okay.
I can kind of add to like some of that exploratory classes and stuff if you like.
Mm-hmm.
So I know for myself, as I started off in a biomedical science major, and I tried just a psychology class, and I ended up switching my major because of it. So I think I always, whenever I'm working with first-year students, I like to tell them to just try a new class, and especially if you're in such a small cohort with classes such as like the music department, like you were saying, Erin, if you take like a psychology or philosophy, you get to meet a whole other group of people that you probably wouldn't have met otherwise. So it's always fun and exciting as well.
That's true. Yeah. Yep. And it's interesting how other disciplines intersect with your interests as well. There's a whole philosophy of music that you could explore.
We got 2 more questions that just came in.
Yeah.
What would a regular schedule look like? 9 to 4?
Ooh. Well, there is no regular schedule. That's one thing in university. Classes happen when they happen. If you give yourself that, it depends on when the classes are, right? So, and the classes are going to be offered at different times. And of course, everything is different now because we have so many online classes as well. But it's not all in a block like that. Typically, you choose the classes that you need and they happen in like different chunks. So sometimes we'll have a class that happens on Tuesday and Thursday. Sometimes a class will happen on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then the rest of the work that you do at home. And so organizing your schedule can be a bit like a jigsaw puzzle. So there is no real clear answer to that. It also depends on what it is you're taking. I think music will be a little bit easier in certain ways to kind of plan your schedule because it's, again, such a small cohort and small department.
The next question I have is, do I have to make a decision on the instrument I want to play before going into university?
Yeah, I don't think you do. You don't even have to make the decision about whether or not you want the individualized or performance stream until second year. You do have to do an audition though. So I'd imagine, well, you'll need to choose something for the audition, but I don't think that you have to. I'm not really 100% sure though. So what I would do is I would save that question for the music open house in December. But I think there's some flexibility there if you're not 100% sure which instrument you're going to want to pursue. Yeah, I think there's some flexibility, but again, the music department is the best place to go with that specific question.
So the next question is that, so it's not going to the university every day. Is it like the same for all classes in every department?
That's right. That's right. So yeah, no, you don't necessarily have classes every day. Usually a 3-credit unit class or a 3-credit hour class happens spread out. Sometimes it's all in one shot too. Like you might take a night class and it's a 3-hour class in the evening. Sometimes, again, you take like 50 minutes on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Sometimes it's, roughly an hour and 20 minutes on Tuesday and Thursday. Whatever the case might be, though, it's usually 3 credit hours of class time per class. So when I say you take a minimum of 3 classes per term, that would be 9 hours of class time. Of course, for music, it's a little bit different because there are rehearsals and ensembles and individual lessons and things like that. So that all has to be factored in as well. But hopefully that helps to answer that question. And we are at 4:01, I see. So I think we're going to end it there. I do definitely encourage you all to check out, those of you interested in music, to check out the music open house in December. I'm glad you learned something new. That's wonderful. And I hope you've had a really good time at the USask open house. Thanks for coming. Bye, everyone.